Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network. The road to 1K subscribers continues. Tyler, been a lot. The second 500 come a lot easier than the first 500. Looks like we'll be doing a 24-hour live stream soon, so make sure you stay abreast of all that action. Of course, that's all subscription now live. Just $34.99, not for a week, not for a month, but for the entire year. So, Tuesday. You know what that means? Time for the DraftKings. Fanspeak.com, the place to be for your best ball summer. Tyler, the last couple of weeks we've come on this show and I've said, not a lot of news, not a lot to talk about. But fortunately, Tyler, your team went ahead and gave us some fodder with, to me, it was a weird trade. It was executed in two parts. And I know we're going to talk about the fantasy, and I see Steve and Spunky, and we're going to go ahead and talk about their comments here. But I want to ask you first, and we'll get to the fantasy stuff soon. But, bro, what's up with Minkah Fitzpatrick? That personally surprised me. I thought that was a great trade when they pulled it off. What was it, 4 years ago when they traded their first rounder at the time? And, you know, they were like 1-4, and they turned the season around and still made the playoffs. And really felt like they got, quality first rounder out of the pick. What's happened there in Pittsburgh to make him persona non grata? Because they essentially just got older in my mind, right? Ramsey's way closer to the end of his career to me than Fitzpatrick. I've always thought Fitzpatrick was good, but looking into this, I've seen a lot of criticisms of Fitzpatrick's most recent year and maybe that he's fallen off faster than Jalen Ramsey. Talk to me about your thoughts and the feeling overall amongst all the Pittsburgh Steelers fans that you walk arm in arm with every day.
It was a roller coaster of emotions for about 10 minutes, Brad. I mean, the trade came through. Everyone was happy. Oh, we got Jalen Ramsey. Our secondary is really good. And then it came out what we gave up for him. It was like, why? I don't get it. I get Minkah was kind of labeled the guy that was messing up last year. But if you really go back and look, the ones that weren't playing their position were Patrick Queen and Cam Sutton. He was trying to cover for Cam Sutton. When the other safety isn't doing anything, you got to pick your poison. It's either it's going to the left side of the field or it's going to the right side of the field. He can only run one down at that point. You see what I'm saying? So he's going to look like he's making the wrong reads. He's really not making the wrong reads. It's other guys. He's had a slow year, but the other guys have had bad years. TJ Watt had a down year last year compared to his other years. So you don't see him instantly getting traded. I know he's in talks, but they won't budge. I don't think it was a good trade. Then they gave Ramsey more money and took on most of that contract. Don't like that. And the whole Jonnu Smith.
Not at all. I thought he was washed. I didn't even want him on the Raiders.
Yeah, and the whole
everybody needs more cornerbacks.
The whole Jonnu Smith part of the trade, I'm not even sure he's the best tight end on the team.
No, he's not. There's no way.
I'm not high on Freiermuth as a player, but like he's a solid tight end. And with Rodgers, he's going to play well. Rodgers has already talked about him on the McAfee show that he likes him. He likes the way he can get up and down the field and vertically stretch it. I think John is going to be used more as a blocker and a red zone guy. So I think it just lowers the price on Freiermuth. So I'll just keep clicking his button. And I wasn't clicking Johnny before. I'm not clicking him now.
I wasn't either. And I'll have to retweet it because I'm not going to do an excellent job of summarizing the article. But it was basically saying that, and this was actually before the trade. It was the guy posted it the day of the trade, but before it happened. Basically saying why Jonnu Smith's success was ultimately a failure of the Miami offense in general. And the idea was he's the safety valve here. So when he's leading your team in targets, that means all the explosive plays that your brilliant coach, who, I have had my issues with this glorified offensive coordinator masquerading as a head coach, but your brilliant coach's plays aren't revolving, ending up in downfield plays. They're all getting dumped off to the safety valve. So that was great if you had Johnny Smith shares last year, but the fact that he was so high in targets
just to talk about that point, because it's like right in line with what you're talking about, is this comment right here from our guy Steve. He said with the Falcons, both Pitts and Johnny were top 20 tight ends in 2023 under Smith, and that was with Ritter at quarterback.
Yeah,
that offense was terrible. He had no wide receivers down the field. He couldn't even get Drake London the ball, so it was all dump offs to these tight ends. There was
and
it's
not like you have all. It's not like you have this wide receiver core that's just going to be, bursting with talent. How do we get all these guys on the field, right? I mean, you still don't have a number 2.
Yeah, they didn't have a number 2. They really didn't have a number 2 in 2023. So it just I didn't like that offense. And I bet you if we go back and look at the target share from their Pitts and Johnny, who took a lot of Ritter's target share that year.
Yeah. Interesting thing there for the Steelers. Like I said, I know that because this is a fantasy show, the Jonnu Smith is what we're really focused on as fantasy players, and people are going to start drafting. And guys, if you're here going to draft with us, we're going to start up in 10 minutes. I just want to go over all aspects of this trade and a couple more ideas that I had just since the last time Tyler and I talked about fantasy football in general. But we will be drafting a team here, so hang tight with us.
Tell me this Pittsburgh team. And of course,
throw comments in the bottom, and we'll address those as well. What's going on, Tyler?
Tell me this Pittsburgh team, we're looking like a couple months ahead into the future. We're looking through our little magic ball. It's about week 9. They start off rough. Say they win 3 of their first 9. Rodgers retires early, just disappears, goes off into the sunset, middle of the season. Jalen Ramsey's freaking out on the defense and screaming at the media. And Tomlin's just standing there with his arms crossed. Couldn't we see this ending in disaster?
Yeah, but you say this every year and it never does.
But this is a different animal.
How? What's different? Tomlin always gets the most out of these groups of teams.
Yeah, but Rodgers isn't a guy that just listens and buys right in.
It's not like the offense.
It's
not like Tomlin's been getting these winning records on the strength of his offensive acumen, right? I mean, you guys have been sputting around.
No, I agree
ever
with
since
that.
Roethlisberger left, you've had no offense at all, and you guys.
I agree with that, but let's just say he has one of those years where it looked like before his 2 back-to-back MVP years in Green Bay, where he had one wide receiver that was getting double covered. He was frustrated because he was just throwing the ball out of bounds because he's not going to take chances. They really didn't have a run game. The offensive line's not all that good. The defense is on the field a ton, and if it regresses from last year, there are some problems there. He's made comments already that this is his final year. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts bad if he ends it early.
Yeah, I just don't think it starts bad. I mean, that's what this guy does, right? I mean, it's almost like when looking at the Pittsburgh schedule, everything that should be an L is a W, and everything that should be a W is an L. Right? You guys will beat Baltimore in Baltimore. You'll you'll travel to San Francisco and win on Sunday Night Football as 7-point underdogs, but then you'll lose to Jacksonville at home.
Yeah, but here's one thing I think we could both agree on. A lot of that comes from TJ Watt, right?
Your little scenario where they're 3-9 only happens if TJ Watt rips an elbow or something in week 1 and is out the whole time. As long as he's on the field, you guys are going to be 5-4.
I don't even think he has to rip an elbow. What if the same TJ Watt that shows up that finished the season last year, this shows up week 1?
But he was playing through an injury.
Defense is going to look the same.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess you can say that about any team. If any team, their very best player on defense regresses 50%, then they're going to be in trouble. All right.
I agree, but
So final thing about this trade, and then let's check with these comments in the chat. You know me, and I know we're definitely different on this, but I'm pretty high on Tomlin's mental acuity for being able to give up on these players when he feels he's got the most out of them. If I'm a Miami fan, should I be worried that Tomlin doesn't think he can reach Fitzpatrick anymore?
No.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't be worried.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't be worried at all. I still think Minka's a solid player. But here's the thing is that Miami secondary is absolutely terrible. Like, he is literally the only name that I know of. The other guys I have never heard of. There's a guy named Storm Duck in their secondary. They are going to get shredded regardless of how good of a player he is, Spread. He can be the best safety in the league. You can't do anything by yourself.
Yeah, especially in the secondary where you're just helping out a lot. So we'll see how that turns out. That's where he was originally, right?
Yeah, he was drafted by Miami, traded to Pittsburgh, and now sent back to Miami.
It's kind of funny, huh? Any quotes from him? Is he happy to go back?
I haven't seen anything.
It's like your chances of winning just are gone. But
I mean,
not a bad place to be
did
rich.
he ever have a chance? Let's be honest. Did he ever have a real chance at winning? He's going to win 9 games, but he's not going to win anything.
I guess. I mean, if you guys would have a better quarterback, yeah, we would have a chance.
Yeah,
Miami's never gonna have a chance. Like, there's a path for you guys to be good. Miami's never gonna be good. Never, ever, 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 ever.
What quarterback do we need? From, like, if you just plop any quarterback in the NFL on our team last year, who wins us the first playoff game against Baltimore? You think Burrow's beating that Baltimore team with the guys we had? Mm-hmm. I don't think he is. Because he doesn't have Jamar Chase to throw for 3 touchdowns.
He'll make any of these receivers look good. Let's see how Jamar Chase looks without Joe Burrow.
I don't think that's something we gotta worry about, Spread.
I don't think so either.
The other one looks completely fine without Joe Burrow.
Who?
Justin Jefferson, the other guy that played with him in college, he looks completely fine without Joe Burrow.
Fair enough. Wouldn't you say Justin Jefferson's better than Jamar Chase, though? Just in a vacuum? Like, if you could have either one on your team right now, I would rather have Justin Jefferson.
It's very, very close. It's 1A, 1B for me.
For our fantasy, I like Chase more because the situation. I like Joe Burrow better than JJ McCarthy.
I think we could legit sit here and argue back and forth on why one's better than the other one. I think they both do different things a little better than each other. Mm-hmm. If we're going to nitpick and say pick one, I'm probably taking Chase.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the chat's going to be with me on this one. But, guys, so the question for the chat is your favorite team. And, of course, if you're a Vikings or a Bengals fan, you're not allowed to vote. Your favorite team can either get Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. I'm taking Jefferson on the Raiders. Tyler just made Jamar Chase a Pittsburgh Steeler. How would you like that, Tyler, going into this year if you had just added Jamar Chase out of nowhere? Then would you be winning something?
And DK Metcalf?
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that'd be really nice, Fred. That'd be great. I like Chase a little more just because you could probably break this down with looking at the routes and actually sitting here and like breaking down the route tree and where it all runs out. But I just eyeball test. Jefferson does a lot more of his damage down the field. If you got one of these quarterbacks that can't get it down the field and you got more of a game manager, wouldn't you want your guy to be able to take a screen or a slant and just go 75 with it?
Jefferson can do that.
Jefferson can do it, but he's more of a separation guy downfield to where we see Chase catch a ball at the line of scrimmage and just dart away, and there he goes for 75. But he could also be wide open down the field. So like I said, they're both the best 2 wide receivers in the league. We can nitpick forever. I'm taking Chase.
Yeah, and then our second question would be, who would you rather have, Jonnu Smith or Freiermuth? All right, let's answer this question. What's up, Spunky? Also, so Spunky's been messaging me, Tyler, and he said, one of us needs to go 0. He's talking about for today's show. He goes, one of us needs to go 0 RB for the next draft that we all do together. I said, Tyler loves his RBs. I don't know if that's going to be us.
It won't be us.
He volunteered to run a 0 RB build today. However, I did emphasize that, like, if there's a run on receivers, right, and like, Bijan or Saquon's available at pick 8 or something, right? Like, you don't have to do it. So
yeah.
But his question is, how many Jonnu teams were fried after yesterday's trade? And I'm going to just steal Steve's answer because that's what my answer is too. As long as it's a 3 tight end build, I think you're fine. I mean, It's not like people were taking Jonnu with their second round pick, right? It's not like Brock Bowers or Trey McBride or something, right?
Can we talk about who they signed to replace him, or they traded for?
Oh gosh, I read this. Oh, Darren Waller,
your old tight end. Yeah,
Darren Waller. I saw that.
Is this going to be one of those just like they traded for something that never showed up, or is McDaniel going to resurrect this guy from the grave?
I don't know. Do you think Darren Waller like blew through his $4 million or whatever he made playing football, trying to be a rapper, and now he's got to try again?
Did he actually try to be a rapper?
Just flip the switch, even if he is trying? This is an unforgiving sport. This isn't NBA.
But did he retire due to age, or wasn't he complaining about the way they were using him on his team? He couldn't get out of his contract.
I think he was just banging some chick. They like gassed him up that he was the super musician.
He was dating the WNBA player, wasn't he?
Oh, was he? I don't know. Anyways,
I thought he was younger too. He's already 32. Like, yeah, that's probably a wash.
Yeah, and he had he was a drug addict.
He said he was a drug addict, riding that dude.
Bro, that's hard on your body. I don't know how I would personally know this, but that's what I've heard. Okay. Steve says both Jonnu and Freiermuth can still be viable best ball targets, just at lower cost. Tyler and I have agreed, though, we're going to target Freiermuth and just take a stand there.
What do you do?
And Meg wrote about that this week, Tyler. And sometimes you just got to take stands, and I think that's what we're going to do.
What do you do with the Miami guys now? How do you preference them?
I love them. I've already loved them.
Are you moving all three of them up, or are you moving a certain one above
How can
one?
You not?
I'm not moving Hill. I'm not touching Hill still.
Oh, well. All right.
I mean, I'll draft him if his ADP is just like out of the blue. Like what's his ADP right now? Let me switch back over to the screen. Like, let's see, he's going 31. If he's there and I'm picking,
and he's going way higher in the more recent drafts.
Well, if I'm picking in the late 40s and he's still there, I'll click his name. Other than that, I'm upgrading Waddle and I'm really upgrading A-Chain. I can't really upgrade A-Chain all that much, but let's just right before we click into this draft, Barkley, Bijan, Gibbs. Then it gets interesting from there. I think when you're like, all right, which one of these running backs would you click in front of A-Chain? CMC?
No.
Genty?
50-50. You should have even exposure.
Our guy Derrick Henry? It's tough.
On DraftKings, I could argue you move A-Chain ahead because he's going to get all those dump off.
Not just the dump off.
Underdog,
he lined up in the slot last year. They don't even have a wide receiver 3. They have.
I know. Tell all my Malik Washington shares that.
They legit have 3 weapons. The target share is going to be so condensed with these 3 guys. Jalen Wright probably gets in on it some of it too. I don't mind upgrading him, and even Ollie Gordon, who I don't even think is good. But I think they're gonna use all 3 running backs, and it's going to be a 2 wide receiver set for the most part. So. I love some A-Chain, and I'll still be drafting a lot of Waddle.
All right. Do you want to count that down, and then we'll go through the rest of the chat while we wait for the draft to start?
Yep. So we're going to count that down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see how many we got. We need 3 more, so hopefully our guy Spunky can get in there.
All right, let's check the chat. Mike Robb, who was not with us last week, Mike, your lack of presence was noted. The argument of what if Rodgers is better than past years is crazy. He's getting older, more beat up, more drugs used, and not the good kind. I mean, if he was doing drugs with LeBron, I'd be all over him, right?
Don't even get me started on that, or we'll be in this draft talking about free agency and hypothetical trades.
For the crappiest sport, like you already messaged me. This is the only time of year that the league is
interesting. This is the best part of the NBA season spread is when all the guys start to jump rosters, trades come out of nowhere.
That's why the product is so terrible.
Yeah, we're picking third this time spread. We're not at the back end.
Oh fuck, we're gonna have to come up with a whole new strategy.
Guess who's in the one? Guess who's in the 1 spot?
Spunky.
Our guy Spunky.
Well, he's gonna be easy to do 0 RB then, so just grab Chase.
Yep.
And he loves Chase from.
I can tell
He
you
loves
Spunky's,
Bengals
I can tell you
stats.
Spunky's
I
team
can
right now.
already predict, and it won't be us, but he's gonna get pissed when Burrow gets sniped because that's
not even just Burrow, but look, I can tell you Spunky's team with the whole 0 RB he's going to build here. Chase, McBride, Marvin Harrison.
No, he's gonna go Chase, McBride, Higgins.
Or he goes Higgins.
McBride might get
and at what point does he stare at Chase Brown and go, do I just want to just bite and get Chase Brown or James Conner?
Wow, I wonder if he goes Chase, Higgins, Brown. That would be wild.
Yeah, because that's the matchup in Week 17.
Stick with us, and we'll find out what our guy Spunky Spectrum picks. Steve says Rodgers is still an upgrade over what they've had since Ben's last year. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, would you guys have like? Yeah, Russ was terrible. Spunky says Steelers spent so much money on defense. Pittsburgh lost Lyman, Najee, and Pickens. Add TJ Watt's likely contract exemptions. The Steelers have mismanaged the cap. I don't know if I agree with that.
What are we looking to do here in number 3, spread?
First of all, when they lost Pickens, that was good. If Tomlin says you're washed, you're washed. Like, I could have the dirtiest clothes, and if Tomlin said that's washed, I'll put it on and wear it to a wedding. All right. Bijan?
I don't mind Bijan. Barkley's still there.
I don't want Barkley.
You don't want Barkley? You want to go Bijan?
If we're doing a running back, we go Bijan.
It's either Bijan or CD for me.
I'm fine with either. We haven't done either of these starts, so
let's go CD. Yeah, we'll go Bijan. We don't have a Bijan start in this one. Let's do that. A lot of our starts have been at the back end in this one.
All right, I'm gonna head back to the chat, Tyler.
Yeah, because now we won't pick for 17 picks. Yeah, so we won't come back around for a while.
All right, Mike Rob back in the chat. Glad to see you.
Our guy Steve in the 11th spot. He was lurking back here.
We just got rid of. We just gave $20 away. Great job.
Yep.
Tyler. All right. With what Rodgers could do a bit better on the field, the extra stuff he brings, like alienating teammates and coaches, passing the blame, and throwaways to protect the stats, it could end worse. I wonder. You know what's funny, Tyler? Doesn't he seem popular amongst his teammates?
No.
You don't think so? I didn't hear any Jets players having problems with him.
I mean, a couple of them liked him. I thought you were talking about his teammates now, because his teammates now were talking all offseason that they were tired of waiting for him and that if he's not coming, just to stay home.
Yeah, but he showed up. It's just like if I'm tired of waiting for a girl to come over, but she gets there at 3 a.m., I'd be happy at 3 a.m.
This is another thing, Spread. This ain't the team that likes to deal with divas and superstars that just like to do their own thing.
Your hate for the Steelers is ridiculous.
I just want some change.
Bro, just go be a Kings fan for a year and then talk to me.
I'm not rooting for Dennis Schroeder. You guys signed Dennis Schroeder for $45 million.
Bro, our team sucks so bad. Dennis Schroeder.
All right. Look at the run on running backs to start this. Only 4 wide receivers in the top 10.
All right, let's see. I know. Good day for your 0 RB start, Spunky. Steve says, I don't know if I buy that. I mean, guys like Fields and Pickett were alienating offensive guys with nothing to back it up. Mike Robb says, I'm a Ravens fan. Oh, another guy who's blessed to actually root for a real franchise. Couldn't be me. I'm a Ravens fan, so Chase, so he doesn't blow up for 180 and 2 TDs in the playoffs. I can't imagine Waller in anything in terms of fantasy.
And neighbors Brian Thomas start for our guy Steve.
That's an elite start.
I like that.
All right. Steve, I hate the Steelers and also Rodgers. Oh, so you and Tyler are exactly the same, except for he's Tyler's favorite team.
And
you
Derrick Henry, Devon A-Chain starts on good one. I like that.
Which one?
A-Chain Henry.
Henry in round 2 is wild. Sometimes you just have to put your money behind your hate like I do with not drafting them.
So we're up in 4.
I can't even imagine hating a football team.
Any specific targets here?
We should fuck Spunky over and take T. Higgins.
Spunky's never done us wrong.
He did that one time.
Do we want some correlation here? Atlanta plays Tampa Bay in week 15.
We do not want Bucky Irving. If we're drafting anyone that's on the screen right now, we're taking Garrett Wilson.
You'd be Rashee Rice.
You want Rice?
Yes.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Get some rice.
Bro, I haven't eaten any rice all week, dude. It's so hard to lose weight at my age. I miss
T.
rice.
Higgins, Marv Harrison. Call it like a
He went Harrison, not Chase Brown?
He's doing 0 RB.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I told you his team.
Who are we grabbing here? Tyreek Hill?
No. So Kansas City plays.
I want Scary Terry or JSN.
Where's Kansas City? Chargers, Tennessee, Denver. It's really nothing there. Who do you want?
I want Terry, JSN, or Devontae Adams.
Let's go Devontae because the Rams play Atlanta in week 17.
Oh, great. Good call. All right. You do that. I'm going to go back to the chat and let's check in on our guys. All right. Mr. Grapefruit, what's up, bud? Happy to see you back. Thank you for chatting with us today. He says Henry versus the Packers is a great week 17 matchup. Yeah, we're loving that, right? We were all over that, aren't we, Tyler? Mike Robb says Miami signed NWI early in free agency. Who's that? Nikhil Westbrook-Akine or something?
Yeah, Nick Westbrook-Akine.
And he was on Tennessee, and he's been terrible. Like
on Tennessee, he was the dude that had like 25 receptions on the year and like 12 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, he was like a fly guy.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. He would just randomly catch the touchdown every time.
Yeah,
you'd be on Calvin Ridley.
Well, that's a good point by Mike Robb. Then
you'd be on Calvin Ridley anytime touchdown bets at like plus 190, and you'd get all the way down there. And you'd be like, here's our chance. And the dude who's like 13-1 at the bottom of the list catches the touchdown every time.
Yeah. All right. Steve agrees. So it means you made a good take then. Did Steve just grab Lamar Jackson? First QB off the board?
Yep.
Bro, that's a value.
Ahead of your guy, Josh Allen.
I actually think Lamar's a better fantasy play than Josh Allen.
I agree.
Too. Because we've talked about it before that Bills playoff schedule is brutal.
Joe Brady also has simplified this offense and made them a run-heavy offense, which I don't like for Josh Allen's fantasy purposes. Don't get me wrong; he's still going to have those nuclear games, but I trust Lamar to open the games up more.
I just don't like the playoff picture. If you have it up, go ahead.
Yeah, at New England, at Cleveland, home for Philadelphia. That is dreadful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Two terrible weather places.
Every time I get chased, someone takes
the
it
best
to
defense.
QB. Yeah, it's terrible. So Mike says the call out for me missing was deserved. My boss dumped a project at me, and I didn't even see the notification on my phone till it ended. I'll watch it another time on replay to atone for the sins. Well, thank you, Mike. Normally I wouldn't care, but honestly, that was a pretty good show last week, Tyler. We were kind of in rare form, Mike. I think you'll enjoy the episode. So, Steve's multi-tabling. He's playing some poker as well as drafting here. So let's see how that turns out for him. All right. What are we thinking next? What do we have so far? One running back, 2 wide receivers. That's it.
Yep. Do we want a little Kansas City stack or?
If we take Worthy,
we'll come back with a running back on our next turn.
Shouldn't we try and get Mahomes?
Yes, but that wouldn't be till the following turn.
You think he'll fall that far?
He's down here. 71.
I guess we could try.
We should.
Quarterbacks haven't been.
There goes Joe Burrow, a pick ahead of us. That wasn't us, Spunky.
Yeah.
Want to go Worthy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now,
Who's he
does
going
Spunky
next?
abandon the 0 RB now?
No.
That's the question. He just lost his quarterback.
think-
Unless he's going to pivot to
cares?
Kyler.
Yeah, he probably will, which we've talked about before. I do not think is a good idea.
I think it's a decent idea. I mean, he said he
Your
intends to
playoffs are
run
going to
more.
suck. He
The Cardinals'
always
offense
sucks in
isn't going to
December.
suck.
What's up?
The Cardinals' offense isn't going to suck.
Kyler always sucks in December because he's so small.
I want to see what they look like. He intends to run more. Like, they're a little bit better. Let's take Chuba Hubbard here.
If we is Kamara off the board?
Yeah.
I'd rather have Kenneth Walker
No, we're taking Hubbard.
or Joe Mixon.
Let's take Hubbard.
Why the fuck do we want Chuba Hubbard?
Listen, we're gonna do this. Listen, I'm clicking this button and we're gonna do this exercise again. Ready?
Yeah, but Rico Dowdle's there this year.
I don't care.
You should care. He's better than Chuba Hubbard.
Okay. So week 1, dud. 11, 30, 25, 18, 15, 11, 9, 21, 28.
Yeah, great.
15, 3, 8, 35.
So
35 when we needed him in the most, spread. 35.
no, because we would have got eliminated off that sorry week 15 performance, and Rico Dowdle's going to steal all his work.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
You want Kenneth Walker, who's made of glass.
Bro, we were killing it until that pick.
We also have a correlation there.
What does your T-shirt say? How do I full screen you?
It's the thing you do from I think it's from like Sandlot. How'd you do that? I gotta stand up.
You're killing it.
It's a little guy from
you're
Sandlot.
killing me. Yeah, actually, that shirt
it says you're killing me smalls on the bottom.
Okay, I know how to do that. How do I get rid of you from doing that though?
How'd you do that? Now we gotta fix this.
I'm not sure. How did I do that?
How did you do this, spread? This one?
There we go. We're back. Okay, cool.
Spread messed with the technology and had me thinking for a minute.
Now I'm on top. I'm the captain now, Tyler.
Kenneth Walker played like 12 games last year.
Yeah.
He's already limited, spread. Coach Mike McDonald said Tuesday that Walker has been limited during Seattle's offseason program due to an ankle injury.
Yeah, because they're smart. They're saving him from when it matters. You can't get.
He's already
win the
hurt
league right now.
Spread, the dude can't even walk around the offseason without getting hurt.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard can't even walk around in the offseason without getting replaced by Rico Dowdle. I'm glad that Mike Robb is here today to agree with me. Kyler sucks in November because he is small. Makes so much sense. Even if it's not true, it's true. Thank you. Mike Robb bringing some Kurt Angle up in here. Pittsburgh legend Kurt Angle. Has there ever been a better athlete to come out of Pittsburgh than Kurt Angle? He has to be the best Pittsburgh-born athlete.
I mean, yeah, more than likely, yeah. It depends on what you're categorizing Pittsburgh as now, because a lot of these guys didn't come out of the city.
Like, was Joe Namath out of Pittsburgh?
He went to Pitt, I'm pretty sure. Tony Dorsett went to Pitt. Ditko went to Pitt. Darrelle Revis went to Pitt. There's a lot of guys that went to Pitt that were really good at stuff spread.
That's an interesting one. Darrelle Revis or Kurt Angle. I think winning a gold medal with a broke neck. I don't think you're going to beat that.
Yeah, I agree.
The only one might be Joe Namath, just for guaranteeing it's
taking my homes right here.
Yes, please.
Larry Fitzgerald also came out of Pitt.
Yeah. Okay, so what are we running it back with? Pacheco? I mean, let's just go all in, bro. Fuck Kelsey. Right? I'd rather have Pacheco than Kelsey, wouldn't you?
I'd say either that or Judkins or Caleb Johnson, one of the running backs.
No, let's keep going with our stack. I would listen to arguments for the other guys. Like, I actually kind of like the other two in the vacuum, maybe a little bit more, but
I mean, I can't not hate buying in on a Kansas City offense.
As the great Saphir once said, time for action. The only thing on my mind is stacking. Yeah, so Namath is
he was from Western PA. That was it.
Yeah, so I think those would be my top two, and I'll take. I will accept if you want to say Joe
Dan
Namath.
Marino was another one that went to Pitt.
Dan Marino's better than Joe Namath.
Yeah, so see, like now there's names that are coming up that are like.
Yeah, I might put Marino.
There was a fun debate. It was who's the best basketball player to come out of Pittsburgh,
and who were the top ones?
Well, T.J. McConnell was labeled number one almost instantly, but I think you'll agree with me once you hear who I was.
Oh, yeah, we already talked about this. Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson's a much better player.
Did you see where he ended up?
Great spot.
Bro, perfect.
Do you see who else they just got? I'm pretty sure it might have happened right as we jumped on.
No, who?
They got Tim Hardaway Jr. too, so they got another shooter to pair around this guy.
I like him. His dad was better, but
just putting shooters around Jokic is the best thing you could do.
You and Jamie wouldn't know anything about that, but his dad was pretty good at basketball. All right, Spunky wants to say, because fuck the NBA, what a shitty sport. What do you guys think of Bo Nix?
Spread loves him. That Spread's the guy.
But here's the deal. I think my rightness is over. I think I said I don't think he's going to get that much better. When I was arguing with you,
I can see. No.
You were acting like he wasn't going to be able to play in the league. Like we had another Desmond Ridder, we had another on our hands.
I gotta pause you for 1 second because I forgot like the best player to come out of Pittsburgh. I forgot Aaron Donald.
I think Dan Marino's better than Aaron Donald.
But I mean, Aaron Donald's probably the best nose tackle who ever played football.
I mean, if Dan Marino was on a different team, he would be up there with Montana and Brady.
I mean, you'd say that about a couple quarterbacks in this decade too. So,
who?
I mean, Drew Brees should be up there. Drew Brees and Dan Marino are the same.
Dan Marino's 10 times better than Drew Brees. If Drew Brees played in 1983, his career would have been four fucking games.
We got to make a pick and 2 picks, and then we'll argue.
Okay. All right, what are we looking at here?
I'd like to get either another wide receiver or a running back.
I wouldn't mind a little Evan Ingram action, but we can push tight end back.
I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind Etienne.
I don't like anyone on the screen right now.
It'd be Etienne or Ingram for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with either.
Let's go Etienne.
Yeah, fuck Evan Ingram. Only because tight end's going to be easier for us to fill in the last.
Yeah, and he could be one of these late running backs that just fills in pretty high.
All right, before we start arguing, let's figure out our next pick though. Najee. Who else are we looking at?
Can I get some week 17 correlation here?
With who?
Pittman.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It makes our tight end pick a little easier later also. Get your boy.
Well, how does it make our tight end pick a little easier?
We're going to draft your boy.
Tyler Warren?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to be there.
You will be.
All right. Let's check the chat. Let's see if we have any Dan Marinos in the chat. Oh. Never mind. It's Joe Montana, bro.
Spread, is our city like put up like if you were to take like
this
an
conversation's over.
If you were to take an all-time list of just like football players, like the offense our city would put out there.
I know your all-time team is pretty good here, bro.
And guess I left out some guys that wouldn't even have made the list. Like LaShawn McCoy grew up in Pittsburgh. Like there's the running back right there to go with Dorsett. T. Boyd's running the slot receiver for us, while Fitzgerald's on the outside.
Yeah, it's the all-time Pittsburgh team's pretty good. Mike Dickett, tight end. Mike Robb says if Marino wasn't in Miami, he wouldn't have been an Ace Ventura, and that's too big to give up. Yeah.
All right, let's go over our guy Spunky's team. Let's see what he did.
All right.
So he started off strong with the wide receivers. He went 4 straight: Chase, Higgins, Harrison, Sutton. Then he bought in on his first running back, Omarion and Hampton. And he came in with some Laporta.
How far did he go before running back?
He went to Hampton. He went four straight wide receivers.
Okay.
And And then he
So
went.
he wasn't. He definitely lived up to his. He went through RB.
Yep, he did. And then he went and got some
What did he
correlation
grab?
here
Bo
with
Nix?
Porta and Jones. They
Who's
play
his
each other.
quarterback?
He got He drafted Bo Nix in the next round. And then he took some Jalen Warren.
We don't talk about Jalen Warren very much on here, and I have not been drafting him. Tyler, do you think we're going to regret that?
I've been drafting him a little bit. I've been drafting him a little bit more because I think he could be a dump off guy. But with Jonnu added,
DK, right? I shouldn't be passing him over like I have been, huh?
Yeah, with Jonnu added, that's another lineman. Like Caleb Johnson's going to benefit from that too. Let's talk about our guy Steve's team real quick before our pick comes back around too. So he started off with Neighbors, Thomas, Lamar, James Cook, Jalen Waddle, RJ Harvey, Caleb Johnson, Jaden Reed, Bateman, and Brock Purdy. I think that's a great start.
Bro, that Jaden Reed pick is a steal.
Wow. Golden goes one behind them right there. They go in a pair.
Golden went ahead of him again. Because that's their turnaround.
Oh, I got Tyler Warren came off the board. 5 picks in front of us.
Right. Who are we targeting?
This is ugly.
We don't have a tight end yet. And we don't have a backup QB.
Love.
Let's go Lovecraft.
It's the plan, yeah. Here's what always happens to me when I try and do this. I click one of them and the other one gets sniped instantly.
Yeah. Normally I would say that wouldn't happen because you see the 2 tight ends ahead of them, but I think a lot of people like Kraft more than both those players on the board. Does Spunky have a tight end already? Is he gonna do us like
he has Laporta?
Okay, he 50-50 man.
He's got Bo Nix, Sutton, and Marvin Mims. That's a nice little setup.
Yeah. And he grabbed the rookie too, right? PJ Harvey, that great band.
No, RJ Harvey is on Steve's team.
Oh, him, my bad.
Then he gets JJ McCarthy as his backup to go with Aaron Jones.
Oh, great. All right. HP Lovecraft. Let's go. Tyler, this seems pretty good.
I like it.
Yeah, the only thing we messed up was which pick didn't I like?
You didn't like Chubba Howard, but we're going to get there. He's going to get us there. And another running back's going to step in the final week and save us.
No, he's not.
But let's be honest, Fred. Is he even going to need saved? Here's his 3 games in the playoffs. At New Orleans, Tampa Bay, and Seattle. That's a really good three.
Those are 3 all right defenses. That's not like Swiss cheese.
They're more of like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is the one that worries me a little bit. New Orleans.
I think Seattle should worry you more too.
New Orleans
wasn't that bad.
See, I'm not worried about Seattle's defense as much.
How are you not worried about Seattle's defense?
When it comes to running the ball.
Okay, I understand.
They're going to be able to run the ball right down their throat.
Bro, I can't believe Luther Burden goes so late. Is it
because of the injury? He might not be ready for camp. I know he's trending towards being ready for camp, but there is
Colston Loveland hasn't played yet either, though, and he's going ahead of him.
They both go around that same range, like 120s.
Yeah. Wow, I'm surprised it's not Steve who picked Thielen.
Our guy Steve takes him likely to go with Bateman and Lamar.
Yeah.
We got to know, Steve, if Derrick Henry didn't get picked 1 pick in front of you, were you building this team with the Baltimore stack with him? Or was it always Neighbors in the first round?
My guess would be yeah. My guess would be yes.
Made my first Super Bowl bet spread. It's more so just the schedule they play. And if Philly gets bounced out of the way for injuries, I think they are live in that grouping. San Fran at 25-1.
Oh, I was all ready to talk shit about you, but I can't on that one. I thought you were going another NFC East team. When you
No,
said
hell
Philly,
no.
I'm like, who the fuck is coming out of the NFC East? Don't tell me Dallas or Washington.
Even though I think Washington will be good, I think they regress slightly from last year.
They did have, those 1-point games or the games that could go either way. They didn't have a lot go their way.
It's just they played up here. Like, they played above the ceiling. It was the same thing with C.J. Stroud 2 years ago. It was like, unless he was the second best quarterback in the world, he was playing above his ceiling. He was bound to
Plus
regress.
the what's it called? Your schedule's gonna be so much harder now.
Yeah. All right, let's click back over. So we got 2-4-4-1 right now.
You know who I want, right?
Jaden Blue?
No.
Who?
Kincaid.
No.
Why not?
He sucks, spread. 3, 2, 7, 4, 5, 9, 4, 7, 13, 8, 11, 5, 9, 13. He had 3 games in double digits. We ain't drafting this bum. We have no correlation to him. No.
All right, who are we going for then?
I like
Blue?
Jaden Blue.
Yeah. Well, we need someone to make up for that fucking Chuba Hubbard pick.
You picked
Who are we running back with?
Kincaid. I'd rather have
She's
Jake
taking Ray
Ferguson.
Davis.
I'd rather just take the ADP on the guy that's dropped 37 spots in Jonnu Smith.
You want to take him next?
I'd much rather wait and take Freiermuth.
Let's get Jack back, baby.
I'm down. Even though, how far down in the scroll is he? 156.
He's not going to come back around to us.
He probably doesn't come back.
Yeah, we're at reach season, baby. You sure you don't want Kyle Pitts?
No, we don't want that. And Beck's the top wide receiver. Yeah, he's getting drafted right here. Sorry, right. Whoever just took Geno because we're taking any correlation you wanted.
Yeah, I probably thought he was going to get a quick back sack, huh? Didn't know there was Raiders fans up in here.
I seen a stat. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter.
Oh, he wasn't going to get him. He wasn't going to get Batch on the way back.
You're probably right. Yeah, he probably wasn't getting him.
Yeah, he wasn't getting him. There goes Kincaid. I'll miss you, Dalton.
What will you do without him, spread?
Be sad when he's the breakout player of the year.
Listen to this. This could just be meaningless stats because it is college. But he saw 8+ touches in 10 games last season. Here was his stat lines. 26 touches, 127, and 4 touchdowns. 17 touches, 102 yards. 16 touches, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 16, 101 and 1. 15, 59 and 1. 14, 94. 13, 71. 13, 48. 9, 75 and 2 touchdowns, and 8, 127 and 1. That's pretty good.
Who
in a loaded backfield.
Who did you just read off? Whose stats were those?
Jaden Blues.
What school was he at?
Texas.
Oh. So I can't even use the competition argument, huh?
No.
I should pull you. You didn't watch Texas. You didn't watch Texas football. Unbelievable.
I watched them beat Arizona State.
Are we? Oh, stop. Are we going to get the Freiermuth Rodgers combo?
Do we want him as our third quarterback? We could do that. I'm not against it.
We're gonna grab Rico for when he takes Chuba's job in week 3. We're covered.
He's not gonna take his job. The only way he gets his job is if he gets hurt.
Yeah, which he might.
Hey, good. Dalton
First of all, his name is Chuba.
Dalton Kincaid could be healthy all year.
Not a
and
durable
he's still
name.
suck.
Have you met any Chubas in your life before? It doesn't sound like people that just never get hurt.
I I met a lot of Daltons in my life, and they don't play good tight end positions. All right, we're up in 3 picks.
All right, and what are we targeting? Are we going to go Rodgers Smooth?
Let's go
Look
at how far Jonnu Smith
we can decide about Rodgers. What's that?
Jonnu Smith has fallen so far, he's going to touch Freiermuth in this draft.
Well, I think everybody puts Freiermuth ahead of Jonnu.
I don't think everyone does.
I think Freiermuth's a better player.
I think people that are smart and know there goes Rico Dowdle. People that are smart and know put Freiermuth ahead. But people that are going off of last year,
I'll bet you since that trade happened, a majority of the drafts.
There's a lot of people out there that are going off of last year's Jonnu and the fact that he's paired back up with Arthur Smith, and they love that. And I don't think that's a good thing.
What if it is?
Well, Rodgers
is gone. Oh, I'm so sad. Let me just wipe my tears.
What are we gonna do, spread?
You want to let's grab Braylon Allen.
Why do we want the
backup? Braylon Allen, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Pat Bryant?
I'm gonna take Wan'Dale because they play the Raiders in Week 17.
All right.
What is your infatuation with Braylon Allen compared to the likes of Roschon Johnson?
He's like just look at his tape. He's 10 times better than Roschon Johnson. My infatuation with Braylon Allen is I'd want him on the Raiders,
but
I think he's like probably him.
But like here's the
best backups in the league. It's him or Charbonnet.
I mean, Rico Dowdle's up there too now.
No, he's way better than Rico Dowdle.
Are we sure, spread? The dude had a couple runs that were nice.
Yes.
Everyone thinks this is going to be like a committee. They've already told Breece Hall he's the guy.
No, I'm just waiting for Breece to get hurt again. Breece is not a durable name either.
He's not, but they have a really good offensive line on paper this year. If they stay healthy, he could easily be
pieces for a reason.
He could be a very good running back this year. And my thing about Braylon Allen to Roschon Johnson is Braylon Allen could be on the bench 90% of the year and just get Gatorade breaks for Breece Hall. To where Roschon Johnson in Ben Johnson's system has already been labeled the Jamal Williams. He's going to get the goal line touches.
Yeah, until they realize that he sucks.
But we know there's touchdown positivity there. He's done it without Ben Johnson and gotten these 1 to 2 yard touchdowns and punched them in. He's going to get these looks in this Bears offense. That's just my opinion on Roschon to Braylon Allen. I know what Roschon is in that offense. You're just trying to draft Braylon off. We're drafting Braylon off of potential and praying to God he can get the play.
Yeah. And we'd be drafting Roschon off usage when we know he can't run to save his life.
I'm not drafting him for open field running. I'm not drafting him for yards. Fall in the end zone.
I'm just saying, like, Braylon's got a way better chance. Like, if Breece gets hurt, like, Braylon could be like a top 5, top 10 running back.
I mean, they were both.
Like Roschon could never do that.
Either guy was going to be our running back 6. I would much rather our running back. I would much rather our running back 6 have.
Tyler, we're down 9 runs and we just got an opportunity to pinch hit. We're swinging for the fences. We don't need to play it safe here. Nobody's going to care if we strike out.
You're talking about playing it safe. I just want to know what my guy's path is, to where it's not like, but both my
path is Breece Hall, ACL.
My top 2 running backs have went down. Now I'm praying to God that the guy in front of the other guy gets hurt, so my guy can get in the game, or I could have the guy.
Our top running back is probably going to go down because we picked fucking Chuba Hubbard.
Or I can have the guy who can fall in the end zone twice,
sucks,
get
who can't break a tackle, who's going to lose his job, who's probably going to get cut. Who are we drafting? Jalen Noel, Thornton.
We don't need another wide receiver. I mean, yeah,
we'll take tight ends. We can take Mason Taylor.
We're taking Thornton.
All right. Who are we grabbing next? We don't have a third QB either, do we?
No.
You don't even need a third QB, but whatever.
Russ?
Do we? Oh, we have Wandale. That works, and we have the.
They play the
Do you
Vegas.
think? Do you think that Jackson Dart's taking over by that point, though?
Probably.
Yeah, let's go Jalen Noel or Dalton Schultz or. We grab Shador Sanders.
We'll go Schultz.
All right.
You don't want to let me draft them at first. I got Fantasy Dog in the chats on my side.
It's a good looking dog, too.
Yep. Can't be mad with a dog like that on your side.
Bro, if Fantasy Cat comes in the chat, though, I'll be
and he's a Roshan guy. I mean, you're going to be devastated. I was doing some of those, the King of the Desert qualifier draft spread that are like $1.
Uh-huh.
Some of the way these people draft on DraftKings just baffles my mind to Underdog.
Dude, it's so fun. I don't understand why people aren't on here.
Olave, I was watching this board, and it was coming back around to my turn. I was picked like 93. Olave was all the way there until 92. His ADP is in like the 70s. There's no other wide receiver on that team outside of Rashid Shaheed who runs one route that's going to catch a ball.
I'm going to check the chat real quick. Steve was not going to grab Derrick Henry there. He's always looking at Neighbors. It was always Malik Neighbors, says Steve. If Henry was there in the second, I would have taken him. That's where he should go. Steve, we're disagreeing. Henry should be 1-1. All right. Mike Robb says, Fanspeak getting wild, asking if you ever meet a Chubba. That's what we do over here, Mike Robb. Don't even get me started. If we do that 24-hour live stream and you get me in the after dark, Mike Robb, you better be in the chat for that one, buddy.
Look who Steve drafted spread.
Chubba Hubbard.
Look at his last two picks, not named Keenan Allen.
Anthony Richardson. Oh, Pat Bryant and Brandon. I know because he's smart. That's why I knew we were fucked when he was in this draft, because you're going to sit here and have us picking Chubba Hubbard and Dalton Schultz, and he's over there scooping up Pat Bryant and Braylon Allen like a baller.
I need Steve's take on Chubba Hubbard now. Is he in or out on him on the year?
He's probably in on him. He doesn't just come up with completely ridiculous things like me. He kind of like uses the stats and stuff. Oh, Spunky sent me it. Speaking of DraftKings being easy, Goff went in second round.
Yeah, it's like I got Bijan at 6 the other day. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Dude, DraftKings is the place.
Then I was trying to build a Chiefs stack, and Mahomes went 30 spots ahead of ADP. I was like, what is happening?
Basically, like DraftKings is like the bar where like every girl is down to go home with you and just do the wildest stuff. But yet you're going over to Underdog because they're prettier over there.
Am I taking Dart?
Oh, wow, it's prettier. It's like, bro, the action is over here. All right, what are we grabbing? Who'd you take?
No, we already drafted Jackson Dart.
I don't even know what to say about that. It's a dart throw to be sure. All right, can we grab Brashard Smith, or because we already have Pacheco? Oh, he's gone. And we can't grab Shador. We can grab Sanoa Gray. Oh, we already have 3 tight ends, so We already have 3 tight ends, Tyler.
Can I interest you on the random that's in the backfield in Chicago?
Yeah, because we both know that Roshan Johnson can't play. We've already established that through my excellent debating skills.
I'll tell you one thing, too. Like, A.J. Dillon might just be a fat ass and useless. But if he can get rumbling behind that Philadelphia offensive line, if Saquon gets hurt.
No, we're taking that Bears guy. We're not taking A.J. Dillon.
We were always taking the Bears kid, but I was just saying, hypothetically.
You were just fucking with my blood pressure, bro, thinking that we were going to have this perfect team with A.J. Dillon on it.
No, I wasn't drafting him, but I'm just saying, A.J. Dillon behind that offensive line, if the first guy to get to him is a safety, he's going to be a bitch to get down.
Bro, A.J. Dillon went to the Eddie Lacy training camp, off-season football camp. I mean, no, we don't want A.J. Dillon.
Nothing was worse than when they drafted him in Green Bay, and it was like, cool, this is going to be their goal line guy. And then they would get into the goal line, and they'd bring in Aaron Jones. It's like, what? What was the point in
You're talking
drafting the
about when
Bulldozer?
Eddie Lacy was there?
Oh, he was so fat.
Oh,
He was so fat.
I can't imagine, bro. If I had that much athletic ability, because you know me. Well, for those who don't know, I would love to take steroids. I just have no reason at all. I have no athletic ability at all. But if I could have justified it, oh my God. So when you're Eddie Lacy, and instead, bro, you could be calling up LeBron's boy, getting that PhD, playing until you're 40 years old, HGH, I mean. Instead, you just want to eat? What a loser, bro. You can eat after you made $100 million and been jacked. Oh, I can't believe it. All right. So Steve says, I'm good with Hubbard. I have guys like Kamara and a couple more ahead of him, but I think he's still good. All right. So Steve took your side. What a surprise.
There's a post on Twitter. This has got to be fake. Somebody had, it says chestnut checkers. Some of us simply know ball. And it's an underdog like exposure picture. And it says somebody has $37,000 of exposure to Darren Waller.
No, that's impossible. That has to be Photoshop. That's Photoshop. Our guy Fantasy Dog says AJ Dillon is the tush pusher. Are they allowed to do that? Like Leinart did to Reggie Bush?
Yeah, Saquon pushes Jalen in that play. You didn't know that?
Oh, never mind. AJ might actually be pretty valuable then.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you just got like a 400-pound dude leaning on you?
Imagine like the Colts get rid of Anthony Richardson. And they just pull Anthony Richardson to Philly and say your only job is just to hold this ball and fall forward. So we don't got to kill him.
Yeah. And then he still taps out.
I need a break.
Yeah. It's pretty rough out here, guys. All right.
All right, switch back over. See what we're coming.
Mike Robb says, I feel bad for whoever has the overnight. Well, that's probably going to be me, Mike Robb. He's going to have to deal with a bunch of porn bots. What's wrong with that, Mike Robb? And me caringly heckling. I don't know if that's how. I don't think that's an adverb.
I kind of want to click on him. He's still there for the last pick.
Who? We're not drafting AJ Dillon. No.
No, we won't.
Do we need another running back?
We only have 6. I'd rather have one more running back.
Fine, Ollie Gordon.
What's funny is I was like building this argument in my head on why we were going to draft Ollie Gordon, and you called his name out, and I just went blank. I was like, I got nothing for that.
That's funny.
I was like, I didn't have an argument.
You're not used to me. You're not used to me being so sharp, are you?
All right, let's go through these teams real quick.
All right, let's go.
It's a sparky
they drafted them faster than usual.
Yeah, everyone was there. It seemed like. So Spunky goes. Chase, Higgins, Harrison, Sutton, Hampton, Laporta, Aaron Jones, Bo Nix, Jalen Warren, Marvin Mims, J.J. McCarthy, Tyler Algier, Kyle Williams, Jalen Wright, Rogers, Chiga Konklu, Justice Hill, Jatavion Sanders, Brashard Smith, and Bailey. He sniped us in the end, spread. They were 22. They were really little pellets, but they sniped us in the end.
What did he snipe us with at the end?
Took Aaron Rodgers and he took Brashard Smith.
Yeah, but we weren't going to grab Smith.
I know. It's just a mess with them. Yeah. Just a mess with our guy. I do like that team.
Bot in the chat, Tyler. What do we do with porn bots in the chat? You guys talking about thigh fetishes in the chat? Like,
I don't even see it on my screen.
It's this one, porn bot.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at Steve's team.
Did we put him on timeout?
Yeah, we'll put him on timeout for talking about my fetishes.
Yeah, so Steve went Neighbors, Thomas, Jackson, Cook, Waddle, Harvey, Johnson, Reed, Bateman, Purdy, Likely, Tua, Garendo, Ertz, Braylon Allen, Pat Bryant, Keenan Allen, Slayton, Devin Neal, and Elijah Arroyo. I like that team. He's got the Baltimore correlation. He's got spreads, little guys in the back end.
I think 15 and 16 is where he really won the draft. But
yeah,
the Braylon Allen,
for sure.
Pat
15
Bryant,
and 16 are going to be the two guys that just hammer the season away.
They could be.
Pat Bryant
That's how
pooping the
this
Tua
works.
season. Braylon Allen's going to have Zeke's rookie year, his second year.
Yeah. Yeah. Brees Hall just, gets traded to Miami week 1.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Do you want to go over our team?
Yeah, let's go over our team.
So I'm Bijan, 3 wide receivers, Rice, Adams, Worthy. Chuba Hubbard, who's going to be RB1. Patrick Mahomes, Pacheco, Etienne, Pittman. We started really heavy on the running back room, kind of. I mean, we did have that little stretch of 3 wide receivers, but got those 3. And then we got Pittman, Love, Tucker Kraft, Jaden Blue, Jack Beck, Freiermuth, Wandale, Thornton, Schultz, Dart. Not even going to butcher that name. The random running back in Chicago, and Ollie Gordon.
They're better than Rashawn Johnson. Yeah, I like
that guy.
All right. Well, we're going to do a quarterback ranking show. My dumbass thought it was today. Jamie said he's available.
That's what happens when you live in the woods.
Bro.
I'm just messing with you.
It's been hella fun out here lately, dude. I put all these hummingbird feeders up, dude. It looks like Star Wars in my front yard, dude. Because there's nowhere else for them to eat. They're coming for like miles around.
Front yard.
Yeah, and now I'm getting more deer, and I think it's because the hummingbird, you make the sugary nectar.
Yeah, they eat it.
I think I got all like the frosted flakes now for the deer. They're like eating all the grass around me because it's probably sweetened because these hummingbirds are just eating so much right now. But yeah, I do live in the woods. But my point was, we're going for it. I got to check for this Thursday though, Tyler. We might have to push it back a week.
That's fine.
I'm gonna let you know.
I mean, let's just we can get the teasers out there. Like Jordan Love's gonna. It's
gonna be a quarterback ranking show, guys. You're gonna have to put up with us. It's not fantasy rankings. I mean, the great thing is if you want quarterback fantasy rankings, you just get the Best Ball subscription. It's now live, $34.99 for the entire year. You will get the fantasy rankings by the site. Okay, but what we're doing for this exercise, and this is more fun and just for bragging rights, is we just rank the quarterbacks on like who we want on our favorite team, right? Kind of like I did earlier with that. Like, hey, who would you rather have on your favorite? And you guys didn't answer that question, by the way. Disappointed. But we're just who we think the best quarterbacks are, right? So I don't care about stats. Like Mahomes is still going to be my number 1. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's how we're going to do it. We all agree the top 4. 5, we'll probably have a little bit of debate, but it's going to be hard to push back. And then once you get to 8, do the exercise yourself, guys. It is crazy how close
once you get to 5, from 5 to 10 is where it starts to get fun because I have a list in front of me that we made at some point last year. I think it was early in the year. And my 5 through 10 on this list was Stafford, Hurts, Herbert, Stroud, Purdy, Love. I can tell you right now, the guy I got at 11 probably jumps all 5 of them in Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, when we made it last year, I think that
I can tell you the guy at 16 is jumping into the top 10 in Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of movement.
Yeah. But my point is you're going to get ones where people are going to argue. You're going to have a guy that I have 15 ahead of who you have at 8 or whatever. And it's actually going to be a pretty valid argument. It's not going to be like, no way. It's going to be like, yeah, he's got a good point there, right?
I'm going to have a guy pretty low.
The middle range of like above average to average is really tough to do.
Yeah. And I'm going to have a guy a lot lower than you're going to have a guy, and you're going to be upset about it. But I legit don't think the guy can play in another scheme than he did last year.
Oh, I already know who you're going for.
Yeah.
Bro.
I think my statement will be proven right this year, and he will just slowly drop down your list.
Dude, first of all, because you don't account for catching mononucleosis for kissing like 37 eligible bachelorettes in just one night. Like, you got to move him up in the rankings just for that one. Went to USC, stud. Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. All right, guys, so look forward to that. We will know for sure tomorrow. For sure. All right, let's see. Oh, wait. We got one more guy in the chat.
So he's in the – oh, here he is.
How are we going to say his name?
I don't know. We're going to call him Ski. We're going to call him Ski.
Ski. All right, Ski. All right, let's see. Look at Ski's team. All right.
So you went Gibbs, Brown, Jacobs, Jamison Williams, Jalen Hurts.
Hold on, let's stop because the other ones we kind of rushed through because we had already talked about them earlier.
That initial start, those first 5 picks.
I know you love it. Do you like Jacobs ahead of Brees? I know we've had this conversation before.
But those first 5 are really good. Gibbs and Jacobs in the same division, and they get a matchup. You get Brown.
Oh, good point.
You get Brown and Hurts. You get some correlation there, and you get Jamison Williams to go with Gibbs on Detroit.
Yeah.
Then he went with Judy and Diggs. Travis Kelce.
I think that's a little high for Judy.
Yeah, I'm not very high on Judy, but I mean, if the quarterback plays,
he is the number one, though, right? You're getting a number one in round 5.
Yeah. Okay. And you're getting another number one in round 7.
Well, we love Diggs. I mean, we're not going to argue against the Diggs pick at any time. My only question is on the Judy pick, with Olave, Myers, Downs, and Addison on the board. I think you can make arguments for all of them. Myers is technically a number 1 too.
The wide receivers on the board when he took Diggs would have been Diggs, Herschel, Jennings, Shakir.
No, I'm talking about the Judy pick. We're not arguing with the Diggs pick.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying
about the 4 players that went in between.
I would have.
So Judy's safer than Olave. Olave's got higher, but I could see why you would do that, especially from how strong his team was already. He didn't need the huge upside. Olave's got that huge upside, but also got pretty big bust potential. I like Myers a little more. Remember, I'm a Raiders fan.
I like him because
kind of
he
the
gets
same
a lot
idea.
of
You're getting
targets
a number
too.
1. Yeah,
I would honestly
is Bowers the true
group of
number 1
wide
there?
receivers.
There's that argument as well.
Judy,
I just like the fact
Myers.
they're in a dome and are at the end of our deal. Downs, I don't like Judy more. What do you think?
The order I'm taking these wide receivers in would be me personally, because I'm not high on Judy at all. It would have been Olave, Downs, Myers, Judy.
You have Downs ahead of Myers.
Yes.
How?
I don't think you realize how good Josh Downs is as a wide receiver spread.
Maybe I don't. Okay. And where did you have Addison?
Not even on the list. I'm not touching him.
So you'd rather have Judy than Addison?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just because I'm not clicking his name. I still think he's getting suspended. I mean, have they done his trial yet? No. Jury trial will commence on July 15th, so he can still get suspended.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so controversial pick there, but we're just kind of going over your team and just us saying your team is great, right? Like, doesn't really help you a lot. So
yeah,
love the Diggs pick. Kelce, another one. I mean, almost like Olave, you're swinging for the fences, right? But there's a big dud potential there too.
Yeah.
But since he has Dalton Kincaid, I mean, pretty much.
Ayuk probably doesn't show up till week 4, but when he gets there, he could be their wide receiver 1.
Yeah, he also could be traded, and you got to think whoever trades for him.
He's not getting traded. He's been in trade room for 2 years. This is Miles Turner now. He's never leaving.
Miles Turner just left today.
Yeah, after everyone thought he was finally going to stay, and they said he was staying.
Yeah, and you think he's finally going to stay. Yeah, you traded tomorrow. You heard it here first, guys.
We'll see.
At least we'll have something to talk about for the beat of our next show.
I like the Trey Harris pick too because
I love the Trey Harris pick.
It's gonna sound bad, but he might have drafted a wide receiver 1 in round of 10. Now, I don't mean that he's taking Ladd McConkey's job. I mean that Ladd McConkey's going to run a lot more routes out of the slot, and he's going to be the X wide receiver for the Chargers on the outside.
Be the first option.
Yeah, to where they legit didn't have any wide receivers last year not named Ladd McConkey. So Trey Harris is going to get a lot of work from Herbert. So
his yards per target should be like 10 yards more than McConkey's.
Yeah.
He's going to get all, his ADOT's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, love the Trey Harris pick.
Ramondre, we've talked about him before.
I don't mind that pick either. Because
in the round he got him at. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. But I'd be worried that he loses, that he gets you in a good spot in your pod and you lose juice towards the end. But at round 11, all these picks are going to have flaws. Herbert, of course, is great because of the correlation. We've already talked about Kincaid. I love the pick. Tyler doesn't think much of it. Trevor as your third QB, I think is great.
I don't hate that.
Much better than our third QB, that's for sure. Hunter Henry, that's another good tight end. So I kind of like that he followed it up, and I know we disagree on Kincaid, but just humor me for a second. I think those are two solid tight ends to back up the Kelsey gamble.
I agree,
right?
Because there's I mean, those guys are going to catch touchdowns here and there. I think Henry's probably the most likely to score the most fantasy points on the year out of all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just having all three of them, you should be able to cover most weeks where, like, you get to, say, 8 to 12 points. Anything higher is just bonus from those guys.
Yeah, and I'd say he invested, like a medium amount of capital?
Yeah,
like
not
you
much
see
at
a lot
all.
of people got their third tight end later, but a lot of people also got their first tight end before him. So I'd say, okay, for medium,
we drafted his third tight end is Hunter Henry to ours being Dalton Schultz,
right? Who's way better and only 2 rounds earlier. Dylan Sampson, worth the throw. You guys know I love Jalen Noel. What do you think of Brooks? We don't talk about him a lot. Is that someone?
There's got to be a running back that emerges as running back 2 in Cincinnati, right? Chase Brown isn't. Chase Brown is
still on the team.
He is, but he sucks. Let's be honest. Like
he's probably terrible.
He's terrible.
Yeah, he's like Roshan Johnson bad.
I don't hate taking the shot on the rookie and seeing if the rookie pops as running back too. And it's one of those things too. Like, Chase Brown looked really good with the volume last year, but what if he just cut a hot streak? And what if this rookie ends up the starter? Like, we're not sure.
Right, because it wasn't like you were watching his highlights. Like, this is the next version.
Yeah,
of Barry
like
Sanders,
Chase Brown
right?
seems good, but he doesn't seem like a
player.
world beater of a running back.
What's so crazy is he's like Joe Mixon.
Yeah,
like he's a good back, but like
he's probably going to hang around for 12 years, do this for 10 straight years, and every year we're going to go, maybe it's not his backfield anymore.
Right, just like him and James Conner. All right, Tolbert and Marks. I actually don't even know his last player.
I know Woody Marks is a rookie running back. Don't hate it. Backing up. He's also
a good team.
Yeah, and it's in a running back room with Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon, who were both waiting to fall off a cliff eventually.
Yeah. All right, let's go here. I was checking a couple things. So Spunky asked Steve, "What do you think of my draft?" Steve said, "Very strong. Love how you started heavy wide receiver, but your team feels strong across the board." Not the biggest Mims fan, but I get the stack. Yeah, right. That's what we kind of have to do. Like, Tyler and I aren't really targeting Pacheco, but didn't you feel like we kind of like should have taken, like, that was the right pick today, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it was the right pick with the stack we built out. We covered a lot of the Chiefs' offense. We have the receivers, we have the quarterback. We don't have Kelsey, but we have the running game also.
The only one is maybe we could have passed on Schultz and tried to get Noah Gray. I think
we could have
done that. In hindsight, it's just we never built Chief stack, so I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Steve says, I worry about the Ayuk injury. It feels like he'll fall in a couple weeks when it becomes even more clear, but less risk on DK with the picks. Because you get an extra 2 rounds, or because you get a PPR, the extra picks. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Ski said, I took Ayuk because all of my previous wide receivers have late bye weeks. All right, fair enough. Hopefully you get a steal for those weeks. Steve responded. And he says, and Chubb doesn't catch passes. Marks is a pass catcher. Fair enough. We're seeing you. So you're giving us knowledge here. So we thank you for joining us because, like I said, coming into today, I was not targeting Marks at all. So now you've given us a 20th round option. And that's what's kind of fun about participating in these live drafts with us here on fanspeak.com is, someone new shows up and puts us on a 20th round player. Because let's be honest, those 20th rounders, I mean, those are like swinging darts, right? I mean, yeah. So if you're able to find one, more power to you.
Was one of these 20 round darts 2 years ago. So
yeah, and so it happens. It's just there's a reason we know that Nakua was one because it doesn't happen very often. So all right, he's a 4th round back. Is what our guy Ski says. So thank you for joining us, buddy. I know that wasn't a scathing critique of your team, but to be honest, it was kind of hard to find stuff to critique. I think you did really well. So
I think the main thing
you have been watching the great content here at Fanspeak. You've been
and that's just all personal preference.
Pardon?
I said I think the only thing we could really critique is the Judy pick, but that's all personal preference. Some people
I mean,
really
when it
critique
comes
a
down to
little bit more.
criticizing these teams, the only time that it's really like easy to critique is when the build is wrong, right?
Yeah.
2 QBs in the first 5 rounds,
Like,
2 tight ends in the first 5 rounds.
If you go back a couple videos, there was that one draft we did when we called out like 2 teams. It was like, yeah, these guys are dead already.
Yeah, but we didn't have that overall today. I don't see any dead teams. Dude, you want to scroll back up? I mean,
everyone seemed to have like a normal build: 3-7-7-3, 3-6-8-3.
You know, I think what stood out to me the most on this one is the quarterback fall.
This build right here is probably the weirdest for me. A 5-6-6-3 build. 5 quarterbacks is a lot.
Yeah,
so it went Burrow, Stroud, Penix, Daniel Jones, and Kirk Cousins.
Okay, so one of them's in round 20. So let's call it a 4 QB build.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's
don't like that team,
technically 4.
Look at his wide receivers. He started with Scary Terry. Okay, that's good. Then what? Zay Flowers. You know, I don't really like him, but that could be
Addison
fine.
Cup,
Swift, you already know I don't like him. Addison Cup and Higgins.
And then
he fucked up, dude. The wide receivers are too weak.
He had to have auto drafted at some point in here. I'm thinking his auto draft kicked in right here.
I don't know. He could just be like quarterback score the most points. I won the most shots at the most valuable position.
I guess so, but he was on a good path, and then it just kind of just went haywire.
I don't know, dude. If you take 2 running backs in the first 2 picks, I don't think you can take Burrow in the 4th.
I agree with that. He did take Burrow really
wide receiver core at that point, right?
Yeah, taking Burrow that early is
look at that very same team, but give him Worthy, Devontae Smith, or Cortland Sutton instead, right?
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, it's actually not too bad, you know. Like maybe you can work on your QBs a bit, but you would have 4 QBs with 2 studs at running back and wide receiver.
Yes, I agree. These 2 picks should have been swapped. He should have left Burrow there for Spunky, but he sniped them to keep him off that team. It seems like there's no other reason.
I don't even think so. I think he's just
maybe he just wanted him, but
a home league guy.
Yeah,
you know, like doesn't that look like a home league draft? 2 running backs to start with. Like I only play fantasy football with my buddies.
Yeah.
No, not worried about wide receivers.
But I mean, this is
probably in a home league that only starts 2 wide receivers.
But this is the way you do 2 running backs the right way. Henry A-Chain, and then Mike Evans, McMillan, Godwin, Debo, all straight. So you went and got.
I hate the player takes on the last 2 though.
But it's
like,
still,
like Jalen Waddle would have been so much better than Godwin
there. You see what I'm
there.
saying, right? It's 4 wide receivers. You fill the room right off the bat. Then he came back.
I would have played it safer, dude. Debo and Waddle both have injury concerns. I mean, not Waddle. Debo and
now he got very bold here because he never strayed away from the running back or the wide receiver position until round 15 when he finally took a tight end. Then he went tight end, and then his quarterback room consists of Richardson, Wilson, and Shedeur Sanders.
He's dead.
Yeah. So he was off to a good start with the 2 and then the 4, but you got to get a quarterback.
He should have been safer on his second wide receiver picks, and then he should have got QB in round 7. You need Jordan Mason.
Baker got sniped from.
You could have got Baker, even if you kept Godwin. You could have had Baker and Godwin. Instead, you have Jordan Mason.
Well, Baker was sniped in front of him. You would have had to take him where he took Debo.
Oh, my bad. I was reading it wrong. Okay, that's fine.
Where's Bryce Young at on this? Because Bryce Young should have been a guy he targeted late, and it doesn't seem like he really did it.
No, yeah, that has home league written all over it. I don't even know.
Where is Bryce at? I know he's got to be around this range.
No, he's way higher. He's in round 13 right after Stafford. 13. Look at Stafford. Below Rashad White, Luther Burden, and Tyler Warren on that team.
Oh, okay. So he went right here. So he was sniped. He was sniped from him again. He was sniped on both his quarterbacks.
Oh. Still, you got to take a stand, though.
You do have to take a stand, but I mean, I think his quarterback room was planned on being.
You can't start that well and then let it get all the way down there.
No, but man, if
you had a great start and you fucked it up.
If Baker slides one more pick, he's got the correlation with Godwin. And Mike Evans. If Bryce slides one more pick, he's got the correlation with Leggett.
Yeah, he was setting up for Baker. I wonder if he just gave up on this draft when he got sniped.
He gave up because he was also setting up for Bryce because he had McMillan, he had Thielen, and he had Leggett.
Well, then Bryce was already gone.
Bryce got sniped from a one pick in front of him.
So you take him instead of Quentin fucking Johnston.
Yeah, he
got like at a certain point, dude. You got to take care of yourself, bro. Like,
no, I agree.
Extra 5 things at ADP is not going to help you when you're best.
I agree, but he was building something and it got broken down. Raised, he got to the finish line 2 times.
All right, that's it
for us today. Pretty much it for me, though, spread.
Pardon?
I think that's pretty much it for me. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think we can critique this anymore.
Fun show today. Chat, thanks for all. You guys always make it so much better. Otherwise, it'd just be me and Tyler having the same argument every single day. Glad to see Mike Rob back in the chat. Clyde, if you watch this back, this is 2 weeks in a row you haven't been here. I'm going to drive into Nebraska myself. Yeah, Steve agrees. That team can't compete even if Richardson's the starter, right? He says if Flacco starts the year strong, I think Judy does well. It's a big if, though, don't you think?
My take on their quarterback,
like 400 yards and then like 70 yards.
My take on their quarterback room is I think Pickett starts the season.
No, Flacco starts the year.
5 to 6 weeks. No, this is just what I personally think happens. Like Flacco could start. I don't think he's actually there to start and play football at the beginning spread. I think he is there to be there in the end if these guys get to 9 to 10 wins and it's like, oh, the quarterback's imploding. We have a shot at the playoffs again. Get Flacco back out there to save the day. I think he's there to mentor the young guys. So I think they start Pickett. He goes for 5 to 6 weeks, and then Shador takes over from there.
Yeah.
And I think those are the only 2 guys that play quarterback, unless Shador is just terrible.
All right, guys, we have a quarterback ranking show coming up. Just a reminder, the show is brought to you by Fanspeak.com. If you haven't already, please like to the video, subscribe to the channel. Tyler, final words.
No, I mean, that was a fun draft. We broke down all the teams. Quarterback rankings will be fun because just like a team we're just talking about, Cleveland, we're all going to have a different guy as a starter. I'm going to rank Pickett as my starter because somebody's got to go in that 32 spot.
All right. Drew Brees better than Dan Moreno. Tyler's worst take ever.